you can look around the world and you see that there are always some markets going up a lot and some going down a lot. And if you have somebody who is energetic and smart enough to find them, to find opportunities, sure, there are plenty of opportunities. You just have to find them. This is clearly a period of exuberance, a period of some things being overvalued. How much longer it will go, who knows? But we've all seen this before. I have learned if it's a bubble, shorting a bubble can be harmful until it pops. I am not short any of these stocks, but if I weren't so lazy, I might start looking for shorts, because there's certainly some very great overvaluations. You know, some of these stocks never go down. They go up every day. That's not normal. If you go back and read about any market anywhere in the world, in history, these sorts of things are not normal. It does not mean they can't go on another year or two. I mean, the central banks all over the world are printing huge amounts of money, and governments are spending huge amounts of money. You know, you give me a couple of $1 trillion, I'll show you a very, very good time. And that's what's happening. Well, I own a lot of US dollars because throughout history, when there's turmoil, people look for a safe haven. For historic reasons, people think the US dollar is a safe haven. It's not. It's not. The US is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, but people think it's safe, and compared to the euro or sterling or other things, people will buy the dollar. It's having a correction right now, which is normal, I hope. So I suspect that when the crisis gets bad again in a year or two, the US dollar will be very strong. It will probably get overpriced, might turn into a bubble. I hope I'm smart enough to sell if it does. As I said before, I've seen bubbles before. And so, yes, I can see bubbles developing, not just in the US, but in other places as well, and in certain industries. Again, they always look the same. Everybody cannot get enough of whatever the group is, whatever the stocks are. So yes, that has happened before. There has never been a time that I know of in world history where there's been so much leverage in the system. You know, in 2008, we had a problem because of too much debt. But Jimmy, since then, the debt has skyrocketed everywhere. Everywhere, debt has skyrocketed. So I have never read about a period in world history when there was such staggering amounts of debt at every level. So history repeats itself, or at least it rhymes. But you know, I don't remember ever seeing such huge amounts of debt worldwide. Bubbles I've seen, this amount of debt has never existed before. It's absurd. Anybody who knows history knows that trade wars, trade tensions have never worked. I mean, history is pretty clear about that. Unfortunately, the people in Washington don't seem to understand history, or they think they're smarter than history. Let's put it that way. Even if they know history, they think that they're smarter than history and that they can win trade wars. History is very, very clear. Trade wars have never been good for anybody, but history is also clear that when things start going wrong, politicians always blame foreigners. It's very easy to blame the foreigners, and it's always happened all over the world throughout history. Foreigners have different skin, different eyes, different hair, different language, different religion, different food, different dress. They always blame foreigners, and both the Democrats and the Republicans in America said, well, we've got an election in November. We're going to win the election by blaming the Chinese and foreigners. Is it good? It's not good for America. It's not good for China. It's not good for the world, but it's always happened. Everybody has their own style, you know. I've known guys who were fabulous short-term traders. I mean, I don't know how they do it, you know, without even looking at well, they don't have tapes anymore, but they could just know. They would sense things that they should buy. I mean, often they would sell them a day later, a week later, or an hour later. I'm terrible at that. I'm very, very bad at that. Whatever success I've had and I had to learn this the hard way. I guess most of us have to learn the hard way. Uh, I try to find things that are ignored, therefore cheap. But if I can find something that's cheap, where there's a positive change taking place, sometimes I have a success. And conversely, if you can find things that are wildly overpriced and where there's a change taking place and you can sell them short, you might have a success as well. I remember at one point I shorted the market when nobody, I actually bought puts on the market at a time when I was the only skeptic around. And lo and behold, 5 months later, I had tripled my money. I thought I was so smart. I thought I was going to be rich any day. I actually reversed my position the day the market hit bottom. I knew I was smart then. Well, 2 months later, I started selling short, and 2 months after that, I was wiped out, lost everything. There was a lot I didn't know about the world, a lot I didn't know about markets, a lot I didn't know about myself. Don't listen to the TV, don't listen to me, don't listen to the internet. Just stay with what you know. Everybody knows a lot about something, whether it's fashion or cars or something. So stay with what you know. If I told you you can only have 25 investments in your life, you would be very careful about what you invested in, and you would probably be very successful. You're going to see a change long before I am, because it's your passion. Every day you go on the internet, look at fashion or whatever. So when you see something changing, do your research and make an investment. And by the way, you'll also know when it's going to change for the worse before everybody else, because you know more about it than most other people. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants a hot tip. That's boring. But if you want to be successful, be boring. And you'll, unless you're a short-term trader, and as I said before, there's some people who are great at that. Unless you're a short-term day-to-day or hour-to-hour trader, just stay with what you know.